Well, the ontological theory that I identify myself the most with is the Nietzsche's idea, because he says that to be a Superman and to be in the power of will, you need to act in an active way and to say yes to life and to the pain and to create your own moral. After the suffering, if you are open to suffering, you can be better, like Superman. And if you accept that everything is an eternal return, that means that in a inverted spiral. So the things are not happened as the same as they happened in the past. So if you accept that and if you can live with that, you can be a Superman. For example, I believe that his philosophy is the best, because I have friends that sometimes they want to get drunk and they are so popular, and they believe that that's the better way to be popular. So if you, they are a kind of idols, but I don't like to drink. I believe that that's bad, and I just don't like. So I'm stopped. I stopped to follow them in the alcohol, or when they want to get drunk. So I create my own idea. So that's an example of how I can answer the Nietzsche's ontological theory. And I believe that there is nothing bad or good. So you can be good or bad, but you can be positive or negative in your life and in the life of the other people. As Nietzsche says, that you be to potential and this potential thing in life.
I think Nietzsche's ontological theory is the one I identify the most with. It says humans have two tendencies, the Apollonian and the Dionysian. The Apollonian tendency is related to beauty and clarity, while the Dionysian is related to passions and sensibility. What I like about this theory is that he makes it pretty clear that there is no good nor evil. These two tendencies are always in a constant fight, so this can be taken on a bunch of examples of our daily lives during different times of our days. Um, One of these examples for me is when I'd rather hang out with my friends instead of doing my homework for school. When this happens, I'm letting my Dionysian tendency overpower my Apollonian tendency. This happens because I'm thinking more of my passions, which is only what I think would be more fun for me at the moment, rather than thinking of what's actually good for me, which would be my Apollonian tendency. The other thing Nietzsche said that really caught my attention is that time is an eternal return, like a sandwich that always comes back, but in a different way each time. Also, that life is like a dice game, where every time you throw them, you and your life depend on the combination it will give you. Um, I like this theory because it's also something that happens to us every single day of our lives. Every choice we make will have an impact on something later on in our day or even on our week. An example for me of this time theory is the fact that I go to soccer practice every day at the same time at the same place. But we do different things each day, and there's not always the same amount of people. Therefore, every practice comes back into my life, but in a different way each time. So, for me, Nietzsche's ontological theory is the one I identify the most with, because he talks about life, and it all just makes sense. Life is something we can't take for granted. Our future depends on us and only us. And I think that that's a really important thought we should always keep in mind.
So I'm Mario Pelaez, and for me, the philosopher I'm more identified with is Nietzsche. First, because I think of the power of will, that is the affirmation of life, you know. Also, because I think that you are here in life to improve and go forward and like like be stronger. And for Nietzsche, that's the Ubermensch, that is like a superhuman, a Superman. And also, I agree with him that God is dead because we kill him, and that means that the idols are all dead. So we create our own moral, and I think that we are in an age and a time of our lives when you are young that you don't care what happens and you only make things the way they are. And I also agree with him because I think there's no good and bad, or you know, there's only potentialization and despotentialization, and that means that you only grow, or you lose the qualities you already have achieved. And also I think that life is like a game of dice, because you don't know what will happen like in the next month or the next minute. You only need to throw it and to see what happens. Life, we take what life throw us, and we just act with it. um, we use that to make our lives. And also one thing I agree a lot with him is like the eternal return. That is the time he takes, and it consists that everything comes back but in a different way. Like an example for me is my exes. I saw some characteristics in them that are very similar, and I think that like the eternal return. You choose one person and the other one is like the same, and the other is like the same. They have their differences, but at the end they have all their similarities.
I think that with the philosopher I identify the most is Nietzsche because of his ideology based on his ontology. He thought that life was like a game of opportunities that only occur once in a lifetime, and every day we have to improve our lives and decisions in order to be better as people and to become the Übermensch. Before knowing this philosophy, I always thought that we have to take advantage of whatever comes your way, because that opportunity may not return, or maybe it comes in a different way that does not benefit you so much. My thought was everything happens for a reason, and if we're not determined, we can lose a lot. It doesn't matter if we suffer, this is how we learn from life. What most caught my attention was how he describes time, which is like a sandwich. Things change and arrive in a different way, but always with something similar to past experiences. An example to this is that every year I go to Disney to spend my birthday there with my parents and brother. What changes is our age, our feelings, our thoughts, the illusion for the roller coasters, our taste for shopping, and sometimes Disney changes too, either in attractions or characters. The experiences of the past stay and even increase in each trip. It will always be the same illusion to be in that place with my favorite people. Nietzsche gave another meaning to my life, even when I thought like him, because even though things happen to you that you think there is no solution, those problems will always help you grow up as a person and learn about life thanks to those experiences.